So Carlotta, I think, you're going to explain to us, the various steps that we need to do for engaging with the right investors. So basically, the job that we are dealing with is raising capital. And I think one of your, team members have already covered, how to identify the investors, I hope, on first step, and how to connect with them on the second step.
Yeah.
Now you want to tell us how we should engage with them and go on. Yeah, take it away, Carlotta.
Okay, so I'll just repeat.
Yeah.
Okay. Obviously
just a summary, Carlotta. Just a summary. Yeah.
Yeah. So the point is to increase the client's chances of securing funding and standing out amongst other businesses that are also trying to attract an investor.
Sure.
And the main point is to build a long-term relationship.
Yeah.
So this step, it's showing the investor why they should pick the company, not another company. And here, the most important part is constant communications.
Yeah.
Then I've listed, yes. So I have shown there are 3 steps within this communication compartment that will lead to constant communication and to build a long-term relationship. So that includes updates, news, and advice.
Okay.
So for all of these, I've in more detailed exactly what does this mean and example sentences, included keywords that are important to convey the message to the investor, and important keywords that the investor will find attractive. Then for advice, for example, what's really important is to show the investor not, oh, we want funding, but actually this is why we've chosen you as our investor, or why we're interested in you and not another investor. So show interest in their ability to provide you with guidance and, so smart money. I think this is a really important part. And yes, to show a genuine interest in their experiences and perspective. So I've included, email and LinkedIn, because I heard that those are the two
most important things. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. And also throughout, I've included these sample sentences.
Awesome.
Then I have, just to conclude, some, appropriate etiquette. What are the formalities when communicating with a investor? Such as don't overwhelm them, but following up in a polite way. And then overall, I have some do's and don'ts. And finally, once all of these steps have been completed, then one can go on to request a meeting for the actual pitch. And then the part after that is all just, what would this pitch look like? So with lots of different AI tools, but I think the first part is more important. Then I went up to, or then the next step would be setting up a pitch meeting with the investor. And there also, I've just detailed exactly compatible AI, but I've made it very specific to email, and I've included a step-by-step on how to set up a meeting over email. And I've also included a sample here. Yeah. A sample email of what would this email look like. Yeah, and that's it for my part. So if there's anything that you would have to comment, improvements.
No, this is perfect. I think it's a great first job, Carlotta, because I was really expecting an outline rather than a detailed thing. So keep up the great work. I think all of you have done really good work in terms of going deeper than what I thought, because the idea of doing this is to clearly understand whether there are some major steps that we are missing today, and how to sort of combine what you guys have thought with what we already do, right? So that we have a powerful step-by-step guide that can be followed by thousands and thousands of people or refugees who are going to do the job for various clients, right? That's one quick feedback. The second feedback is you have to remember one thing, Carlotta. everything that we do should be simple, repeatable, and could be done using platforms like LinkedIn or something, DocSend, and all these things, right? So you have to remember, at the end of all these things, we should be able to scribe them. There is a tool that we use to capture these step-by-step guides, so that if for you and me, right, it's so easy to follow these Word documents, right? But for 99% of the people that I deal with, if you give them this Word document and tell them this is how you have to do it, literally only 1% of them will be able to do the job. 99 of them will not be able to do it. So we use a tool called Scribe to actually capture these steps: step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, step 5. Just a quick feedback. So you got to be able to think, will I be able to capture that step properly, right? It's sometimes so easy to just write it down, but it's really hard to see it visually, but I think from what I've seen, you don't have the problem. You've clearly written it, and it's easily repeatable using Scribe. So I'm not worried about it, but I just want you to keep that at the back of the mind, right? Because at the end of the day, whatever we deliver, right, should be usable by the target audience that we are trying to deliver it for, right?
Yeah.
I know that part is really clear. So thank you very much, Carlotta. I think this is really clear. Just one quick feedback I'll give you is, I really understand the part where we are engaging and through various parts and pitching, and then setting up the final meeting between the investor and the founder, right? I think the part which you are not responsible, but you should worry about is, if let's say your partner got the whole thing wrong, your team member got the whole thing wrong on identifying the right investors. Because if you didn't do a good job of identifying the right investors, whatever you do after that is a waste of time.
Yeah.
Right. So work as a team and make sure that there is no problems above you.
Okay.
Makes sense? Because it's so easy to say, no, I did my part really well, right? It just wouldn't cut it. So I just want you to be careful that if the steps above you are useless, it's the steps below are also useless.
So should we elaborate that part more with how to source the correct investor?
I thought you did, but yes, it is one of the most important part. Like when I was speaking with the revenue guys, right, the lead generation revenue guys, I told the same thing. Identifying the target clients is your number one problem.
Yeah.
50% of the problem is solved if you have identified the right people. If you have identified the wrong people, all your hard work has gone down the drain.
Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
Same with investors, right? Identifying is so important.
Okay. I have a few more questions, if that's all right.
Sure.
So what you were saying with like it has to be simple and repeatable for something like advice, which I think is incredibly important if you want to build a relationship and actually secure funding. I mean, that's going to be difficult to generalize.
Yeah, come to my world, welcome to my world, Carlota.
So
this is the toughest part of my job, making the toughest things so easy that anyone can cook, so I do the work of ratatouille actually, right? That's
okay.
what my work is. Find the most difficult recipe and make it simple so that anyone can cook.
Okay.
Right.
But so do you with the direction that I've gone in here, this is what you're looking for, or do you think there are things to change?
No, these are the right things to do, and we always know what are the right things to do. Now the question is, how do we do this, right? How do we do this in such a simple and this is the beauty, Carlota. I think you missed the previous session, right? The beauty of work that we are actually trying to do is how to make one of the most complicated jobs in the world, right? It is not, raising capital is not child's play.
Yeah.
Right. And
Right.
at this point in time, right now, we are raising capital. 10 teams of refugees who live in a refugee camp in one of the most impoverished world places are raising capital for 10 Silicon Valley firms right now.
Impressive. Super impressive.
Right. and they are pitching to some of the like Reid Hoffman and Sam Altman, all the top VCs of the world are getting pitched to by these refugees living in. I mean, it is just when I tell this, 99% of the people don't even believe what I'm saying. They say like, are you like, is this some joke or what? Are you trying to pull some big joke on us or what? Right? But then when I show them our process, the way we do it, how we do it, they're like, are you kidding me or what? Right? So I never wanted to get into this thing, right? Because I know this raising capital is a hardcore world, right? But I love the use case, the use case of the ability to stand, one day, Carlota, maybe, when we become a $500 million company or $1 billion company, let's say you and me will, give an interview to CNN and we'll say, look, we chose to go after raising capital because we wanted to show that anything is possible, right? Because digital marketing is not taken seriously by people, isn't it? Like, it's been completely, blown apart on all the social media channels, right? But raising capital, people will take it extremely seriously when I use the word, right? Yeah. And then if you are able to give this as an example, we wanted to show the world that anything is possible by these refugees if we could make it simple, with the right tools, right platforms, right, with the right level of training and help, we can make them do this. Mm-hmm. And we have done it for thousands of companies so far, right? Our database has more than 500,000 investors right now. Okay. Because we have done so many clients, and you have to imagine, right? When I say we have 10 clients right now, raising capital, people are not like lifelong clients. They don't come and be a client with you like, for lifelong, right? Mm-hmm. You understand? People give you like maximum 3 to 6 months to raise capital, right? They won't stick with you for like ever. Yeah. Which means we are just churning clients after clients after clients, in raising capital. Unlike revenue generation, where, you sign up, people will be with you for years and years and years until they close or they succeed. Yeah. But raising capital is not like that. It's 3 months job.
Yeah. Okay. So the next step here would be just to break it down into, super simple steps and kind of.
Yeah, I'll show you that, Carlota. Don't worry about that. I'll show you how I've already started doing it. I've already taken all of these steps into a simple Excel spreadsheet, and so that it's easy to work on step by step, right? Because it's very, very difficult to work with a document on step by step guide. So I've already done that, in a very simple way, so that all of us can work on those Excel sheets. And each step, then we can use the software called Scribe to scribe it, as in like how to do that step. Okay. Right? But first, our job is to create the steps. The second job is to identify the right platform to do that step. Okay, the right AI platform, if you may. And third, just push it into Scribe so that we know how to do it. So what you've achieved so far is the first step, right? You have to do the second and the third step, and I've already started doing the steps so that it's easy for you guys to pick it up and work with those things.
Okay, perfect.
Cool. All right, let's move to Falguni, right? Next.
I'll just stop quickly sharing my screen.
Yeah,
yes.
Yeah, cool.
I'll share my screen as well.
Excellent.
Is everybody able to view my screen?
Perfectly, Falguni.
Okay then. So I've come up with like 3 major steps. The first one is ground research to understand the business model of the target founder, CEO, or influencer, whoever we're helping, and then prepare an effective sales pitch, 2 each to use for LinkedIn and then email marketing, and then actually go and engage clients with this sales pitch. Those are the 3 major steps. Yeah. And I'll walk you all through the sub steps.
Absolutely.
So firstly, right, we try and understand what the client wants out of our package, because generate revenue can mean a lot of things for different clients, right? Someone wants to sell a product, someone wants to sell a service, someone wants to sell themselves, like influencers, they're just putting themselves out there. So we want to establish the client needs. We'll find out their sales objectives, how they're different from their competitors. And we'll also establish the elements of a problem solving approach, which sets a pretext for deep selling, which means that what is the problems that your clients are facing, your leads are facing, and how are you solving it.
Got it.
And deep selling basically means leveraging AI and all this information to make predictions as to how your customers will behave in the future, and actually solve those problems. But we won't be doing this. In the sense that we will only be using AI tools to do this, we will not actually be making any predictions to make our lives easier. And then we'll go through their company website, social media, and marketing materials to get a sense of how their products are positioned in the market. And then we can also check their SEO score to see where they stand, and any keywords that they want to be associated with.
Got it.
So that we can actually push those keywords on LinkedIn and make them actually be known for those keywords.
Awesome. Awesome.
Yeah. So next we'll optimize their LinkedIn profile, which is very similar to what our thought leadership team is doing.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah.
we'll-
In fact, this will be the common denominator for every, like I want to call just to spend a minute on here, right? Instead of calling it optimize LinkedIn profile, which is a good word any which ways you look at it, for all three, right? Generating leads, showcasing thought leadership, and raising capital. The number one thing, we have realized, after working for 4 years is how the hell do you look?
Yeah.
Right? You would not believe this, guys. People are raising $250 million in capital and they look like shit, right? And they just don't understand. But why are you looking at me? Look at my product, right? Look at my great engineering, right? Look at my great something. But the problem is that's not the way the world flows, isn't it? You send a message to an investor. What is the first thing that the investor clicks on? Before even opening your pitch deck,
They open your profile.
he looks at you. If you look like shit, your investor deck is not going to be open, dude. You understand? I find it so difficult to communicate this in a very nice way to all the great founders that I meet with every day. You understand, right, Falguni?
Yes.
So this is the, I call it, the thing, right? How do you look? It's so easy, right? Have you, put on your right makeup, right? Have you dressed for the right occasion? How do you need to dress when you have to talk with investors? How do you need to dress when you have to talk with clients? I think they are two different things, isn't it? Right?
Yes.
Maybe if you're meeting a bunch of Silicon Valley investors, over Zoom or even in Sandal Avenue, don't try to wear a suit, right? Do you know what will happen if you wear a suit and go to Silicon Valley, Sandal Avenue, or even in Zoom? You will be actually looked down upon. Like, what is it? It just doesn't match their culture. You understand, right, Falguni? So it's really important to understand, how do I have to look, right, for the things that I'm going to do, right? Because nobody cares how you look in real life. They want to look at your digital you, and 50% of weightage I give it to that, actually, not 10, right? Because if people fall down on that step, they are dead anyways. There is nothing, no investor pitch, no updates, no analysis, none of that matters if you don't look good, right?
Because no one will even open your profile.
Yeah, they're not gonna, they think this guy is the need, this guy, I'm not gonna waste time with somebody who doesn't even know You see, like, how am I going to invest? But you know, many founders, what they tell me, but Anis, look at my company page. What will you say to those who say, look at my company page on LinkedIn?
It's not like we can reach out to investors from the company page. So
You can't, because the investors are looking at you, dude, first before they look at your company page, right? So stop, spending too much. You have to spend money on yourself first before you actually spend money on your profile. Your company profile, right? Yeah, go ahead, Falguni. Sorry that it's a very important point. I want to nail it on everybody's head.
no, that makes a lot of sense. So we'll optimize the LinkedIn profile or actually establish this person as a thought leader.
Yeah.
Just so that you can actually attract more and more leads. This includes having a headshot, a clear job title, a value proposition, and an easy to find contact information, and all the things that are listed here. Next, we'll actually do a customer persona mapping. What this means is...
Sorry, Falguni. I want to take this opportunity and tell you, the level at which, I am trying to work right now, right? So that you guys get a sense. I have a AI program which will tell you whether your headshot was good or bad and what it conveys.
Right.
Okay. I have another small thing which basically has so basically this is again prompt engineering. We have written a prompt that will basically come up with what is the right headline for this person with the right value proposition. So we are doing a prompt engineering to create the headline for every one of our client. Are you able to understand my point?
Yes.
Basically, we are not leaving anything to chance. Like I can't go to a guy who's never been to a school and ask him to come out with a founder's, headline with a value proposition, right? Are you with me, right? Who's trying to sell a debit card as a credit card to redefine the fintech industry, right? I mean, like, the person will not even know, the person who's going to work for this person will not know what a value proposition is when he begins to work for him, right? How does he generate that headline, and how does the founder say, wow, this is amazing, right? It's happening currently every day. Every founder says, wow, how did you guys, turn my headline into this? And like, we just turn around and say, yeah, we just know how to do it. So I want you to remember one thing. We just know how to do things without sometimes understanding what we are doing. Yeah, I know it's a very dangerous thing to say like this in a call that is getting recorded, right? But unfortunately, that is a card life has dealt with me. Right, Falguni? If I employ you, Falguni, I don't have to give you an AI program so that you can make concise headlines with a value proposition, right? I believe in your power to come up with such things, right?
Right.
But unfortunately, I'm working with a set of people who cannot have that level of thinking or that level of idea, that level of anything for that matter. So every step, how do you know it's a professional headshot? How do you know it is a headline with a value prop, right? How do you know it has a keyword with rich summary? Because we architected.
Right, and you test it.
Not even tested, we created. We basically say, hey, give A, B, and C as input, and here is your output. Copy the output and paste it over in the headline. I know it's hard for you to understand. Maybe am I making sense, or this is like...
No, you're making perfect sense. So basically, what I'm understanding is each thing has to... we can't just list things here. We'll have to see what the checks and balances are and how we can come up with that thing, right?
Yeah. Like, I can easily give you a simple example. Let's say you have a professional headshot, right? There is a URL for that, right? Copy the URL or copy your photo, paste it in a website and say, how good is my professional headshot? The website will tell 40%. Right? Then you tell your client, look, your headshot is terrible. Can you give me another one? Then he gives you another one. You get the score for the headshot and you say, yeah, this is good, 80%. right?
Right.
So what I'm trying to say is it's not just testing, but also creating and testing. So everything that we do, right, we do as inputs and outputs. We give the, let's say the LinkedIn about section to generate the job title.
Makes sense. Yeah.
Right? Because yeah. Go ahead. I think you will understand it when I show you some examples. Now I'm talking a little abstract.
No, I get it. I think
So just to give you a sense, right?
Yeah.
Everything that you have listed over there, the detailed experience, the rich summary, we generate all of these things today from ChatGPT. Every one of these we generated from ChatGPT. Every one of these.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense, because I think ChatGPT is the number one tool that I had found, at least as of now, to generate a value proposition and everything that comes ahead.
And the magic bullet that we have, the client does not have, is the prompt to generate the value proposition. So we are mastering the prompt of generating value proposition, right, with a concise headline, by giving a prompt and an input to that prompt, so that the prompt will come up with some amazing value proposition.
Yeah, that makes sense. I think the prompt is the most important thing here.
Correct. Absolutely. I think you guys have got it. Go ahead.
Yeah. So customer persona mapping, right? What this means is you'll know exactly who your customer is, your target audience. How do they look like? What is their age? Where do they live? Who do they work for? Which industry are they working in? These are some of the criteria that you will have to work with the client to establish, so that we can come up with just the right filters for LinkedIn Sales Navigator.
Sure.
So once you've come up with this customer persona map, generally you can look internally, and to find the right leads, you can look into your internal database. If you've had a very similar client, it's very probable that you'll also have a very similar target audience. So you can already make maximum use of your existing leads and use their profile information to generate much more specific filters on LinkedIn Sales Navigator. If that makes sense.
Sure.
And
Absolutely.
then
these are the steps where, I really will make your life so easy, right? All your lives, like wherever, we have really mastered something, I'm going to teach it to them so that it looks like child's play for you. Yeah. Some of these are really something that we have done for so many years now. So we can easily teach you and give you access to it, etc., etc. Yeah, go ahead.
So next we have finding the right leads, which is the biggest step of all. And I haven't had the chance to personally access Sales Navigator. So all this information is from the internet, from everywhere, and I've compiled it.
Yeah, so I'll give you that access, Falguni. So you will have, the ability. In fact, are you connected with me, Falguni?
On LinkedIn?
Yeah.
I think so, yes.
Yeah, just let me see if I can just give you a quick, so you could easily get a 2-month subscription to Sales Navigator if I, just refer you, and then you can cancel it after the first 2 months, because I could also share, but I think I'm just trying to see if I could just, just let me see, Falguni. Yeah, keep talking, I think.
Yeah. So we can use the search functionality to identify potential leads based on the criteria that we find in the customer persona map. And then we can also join relevant groups and actively participate in these groups to grab the attention of the group. And if we are able to establish ourselves as a thought leader in these groups, we will potentially have people reach out to us to know more about our product. And this will be a softer way to sell. And this won't be like our main channel of selling.
Absolutely.
And then, so there's something called Lead Builder. I'm sure you already know Lead Builder, Team Link, and all these things, but this is something I came across as someone who hasn't used Sales Navigator before. So click on the Lead Builder button next to the search bar, and basically it gives you very advanced search page from what I understand. And it gives you like very specific filters that you can tailor and actually get to the pinpointed leads. And then Team Link is something. I think if your acquaintances are connected with your leads, it
Yep.
shows you that, and then your path to sale shortens. And
No, look, I think, I don't want you to struggle on this, Falguni. I'll teach you all these things. I've been doing this for a good 15 years now, from the day LinkedIn Sales Navigator was launched. So I can just bring all of you up to highest levels of, LinkedIn Sales Navigator. In fact, I would really like all of you to, look at your social selling index today. And by the time you complete this project with me, we will double that number for all of you, right? So don't worry about any of these things that you're telling right now. I will teach you, I will give you access, and I will make sure that you guys are at the top of your game when it comes to using LinkedIn Sales Navigator, because this is the ultimate game in terms of identifying the right people for anything. You're searching for a job, you're looking for your co-founders, we are doing so many things every day. So I'll teach this to you. Don't worry about all these team link or lead builder. I will teach this step in 15 to 30 minutes, which you will not get from anywhere else, watching any number of YouTube videos. So I'll do this for you. Let's go to the STP, segmenting, targeting, and positioning. Yeah.
Okay, so now we'll divide a customer base into subgroups based on shared characteristics. It could be anything, an industry, a geography, or a job title. It could be anything. And then we can rank those segments based on the likelihood of the conversion, so that we can actually really push the most likely and also the least likely, but so that there's a faster conversion with the most likely people. And then we can obviously obviously be targeting each segment separately and position the product according to the segment ranking. That is, if someone is the most likely to buy our product, we will follow up with them a little more often. We will give them more tips or advice, more CTA approach, just to ensure that they are compelled to buy our product. And then we will also identify the company's value proposition. So basically, we can discuss with the client as to what they think their value proposition is, and use ChatGPT to create a compelling message with our client's input, but put it much better, and then create really compelling messages that actually push our leads to become our client.
Absolutely. In fact, Falguni, this is where I need your biggest help. Currently, we are using ChatGPT to come up with 4 different types of messages. Okay. What is the best way to connect with the client? We call it connection message. Okay. Dynamic connection message. The second is, what is the best way to engage with the client? So you see, we don't want to sell to that guy. We want to first connect with him.
Yes.
We want to engage with him. And the third one is where we come up with, what is the best way to pitch to this client, right? But in all these 3, we always use context as the feed or the input. So we take the latest post of that client and use that post to come up with a message, whether it is engagement, whether it is connection, whether it is pitch. This is currently our highest form of prompt engineering right now. We are breaking our brains how to pitch to a client in a very subtle way using his own post. Right.
Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah. It's becoming a huge art, because it's not easy to do what I'm saying, the last one, right? But we will learn that together on this, because this is where I think you guys can really kill it.
Now these are some of the AI tools. I'm sure you know all of them. And
this is okay. See, these are right tools, but it'll be good to have a sense. This is where I really need your input also, Falguni. Let's look at all the steps, and then we'll see which AI tool is going to be used for what.
Yeah,
we can do that. Yeah, go ahead.
So for now, I haven't actually assigned any AI tool to any task, because I wanted to get a sense of if these tasks are the right tasks before we move on to the AI step.
Absolutely.
Once we get a sense of that, and once I have feedback from you, we can start working on what AI tools will go where.
No, absolutely. Yeah.
But yes, now we will prepare a sales pitch to use for LinkedIn Sales Navigator and email marketing separately. Chat GPT will come to a rescue here. The most part can be done on Chat GPT.
Yeah.
Most of this. So crafting a compelling headline, that is, yes, we'll use our value proposition, the client's post or what the client is passionate about. I mean, the lead is passionate about. And we will try to integrate these two things in a way that, we're soft selling the product, pushing it. Okay. Something just disappeared from my screen, the video. So I thought the call ended. Yeah. So we'll highlight our value proposition, provide social proof. What this really means is we'll actually kind of show how our product helped a similar person by saying that, hey, I see that, you're trying to achieve this. I have the solution. This has helped this person. But we put it in a very subtle way. We'll have to generate a prompt that makes it far more subtle than just hard sales. And using multimedia, including a call to action, like get in touch with us, schedule a demo, sign up for this. All these things can be added. And lastly, we'll customize our pitch for each platform, that is for LinkedIn and email marketing. For LinkedIn, you can tailor the pitch to the recipient's job title, the industry, geography, company size. And for email marketing, you can use the name and company that we find out, because we can find out the name through when we have like a list of leads, we can find out their name and company through the email itself, unless it's their personal email.
Cool.
Or we can actually look them up on LinkedIn and actually get more details and make it far more personalized than just putting their name or email as well.
Cool.
And lastly, we'll be engaging LinkedIn networking and email marketing on behalf of the client. So we'll engage regularly with the target audience by liking, commenting, sharing their posts, building relationships by joining groups, sharing relevant content, using the hashtags that they use so that it's pushed. And you can actually, if you use the hashtags that they use, you can actually make sure that they look you up, or you can use it in the same group as them. You can come up as more relatable content to them.
Sure.
And you can monitor these accounts as to what they're doing. If they switch jobs, you can congratulate them.
Correct.
Just regular engaging, just to keep in touch with all these leads. And of course, sharing industry related content. This is again very relevant to increasing thought leadership. So if you establish yourself as a thought leader or an industry expert on LinkedIn, then I think it's far easier to convert leads into sales. And for email marketing, we could send targeted emails. All these emails could be generated, the bodies could be generated on ChatGPT. And we could use tools like MailChimp. I don't know if you guys already use it. Do you guys already use it?
Use Apollo.
Okay. Is that a better tool?
Yeah, world class.
Okay.
So
Awesome.
one of the things that we have, Falguni, is every tool that we use must be world class. Like for example, the principle of StepUp.One is we have to do world-class job with world-class skills to deliver world-class results with people who are not given world-class education or facilities or anything, right? So everything must be world-class, and hopefully at one day the money and the dignity they get back is also world-class. So we do not compromise on any of the platforms and tools, so we don't say, oh, this is not up to our level, so we should not, no. For us, MailChimp is a commodity. Apollo.io is world class.
Right.
Cool.
Okay, then we could also organize our leads by using spreadsheets, tracking when you last contacted them, when you need to contact them next. And if a certain lead is a dead end, we can keep a note of that for future reference as well, to avoid double work in any of the cases.
Absolutely.
And yeah, then we can just measure and analyze results. I'm sure Apollo lets you do that as well, like to see the engagement conversion rates and all
Absolutely.
these
So,
analytics.
yeah, we need two tools, right? One for LinkedIn, one for Apollo, because both, LinkedIn does LinkedIn and Apollo does Apollo. Yeah, we are constantly searching for tools to measure and analyze the results for LinkedIn. I don't think there is one such tool yet available for us.
Yeah.
But Apollo does everything, all within itself. Cool. Now I got it. Now we can stop sharing for me. Okay, cool. So if you guys want to just quickly, spend a few minutes on what what we can do together. What I want to do, I want to run you guys through the step-by-step guide that I have currently with me, and that is what I want to give it to you, so that you guys can build on it, right? Because at the end of the day, whatever we do, we should be able to have it, and then we can really build on it. So let me just share. Let me know whether you guys can see my screen. Okay, let me know whether you guys can see my screen.
Yeah, I can see.
So this is just a rough and ready thing that I put together. So please, there are thousands of mistakes in it. So, please bear with us. So what it is, if you can see, this is our main thing. What I did first, just, build, like if you want to build a huge building, right, you got to be able to, lay the foundation and build the building, etc., right? So, what I did, this is what I did. I have separate one for generate revenue, thought leadership, and raise capital, so that each one of you have your own little playground to play with. And when does the work start, right? The work obviously starts even before, this one, but let's say, this is where we start with, right? What is the first thing that we need to learn from the client is, what is the objective of this client, right? That's the first thing that, and I'm sure, Falguni, you have mentioned it somewhere, right? What is the objective of my client? Yes. Now, what are we saying here? Why am I saying what's the objective of? Now, how do we do it right now? We just ask, we just ask the client, what is your objective, right? And the client just tells us, this is what I want to do. But what we want to do is, is there a way we can capture the objectives of my client, right? Is there an AI platform where I can capture the objective of my client and, keep it, nice and clean, so that I can come back and, check with the objectives, whether I've achieved them or not? Are you with me, Falguni?
Yes, Anis.
Right. And how to capture that, objective. So it's basically what I'm really looking for is, this is not the entire, the 12 things which are here is not the 12 steps, right? There could be more from your work that you've done, but I'm trying to, so what is the objective? How are we, capturing it? Just ask and excel. That's what we are doing right now. But my thing is, the challenge that I want to give it to each one of you is there a platform to capture objectives of our clients? Very nicely and neatly and beautifully can we capture the objectives in a place, right? I do not want to name anything right now, because I feel like I might influence your thinking or thoughts or anything, right? So that is the thing. The second thing is, okay, how to do that in Scribe. And I will, right now I'm not going to go into that, but I will teach you how to do both of these things, because it's really easy, right? It's like my thing is, it'll be easier than you writing your Word documents, right? So I want to make the work itself so easy that it's easy for all of us to do it. And and not only that, it's easy for you, but the people who are going to use it, they are going to be also loving it, in terms of usefulness, right? So that's the whole idea of bringing in the platform called Scribe. Now, what is the objective of the client? Typically the objectives will be, it can be anything, right? I want to raise capital of $2 million in the next 3 months from blah 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 investors, right? Or it could be, I want to connect with 1,000 plus people, anything. It can be any objective, just basically, you guys know the objective rule, right? It has to have a time frame, it has to have a goal, it has to have a, smart, basically, every objective has to be smart. What is the problem that the client is solving for their clients? I think you had pointed out this, Falguni, right?
Yes, sir.
What is your client solving it, right? Now, we need to have that very, very clearly. Without this, we will be like, handicapped, right? So the client typically will tell you something, but we use ChatGPT to make it look better, right? But we also need, somewhere where we can, prompt and Excel. Right now it's all prompt and Excel. We use prompt and then we store it in an Excel. And then we do the same thing, how are they solving it today? Right? Same thing, use this and then, Excel, right? What are your clients' product and services? Once again, typically their website will have it. And then we basically, make sure that we capture it and, putting it in an Excel spreadsheet, right? Who's your client's target audience? It's all, easily, I think when the client is asking, it's not going to be Sales Navigator. It's going to be, words, right? Typically they will try to explain it in words. And that's okay. We are also going to store those words, right? So we are going to store those words in Excel, right? Are you guys able to understand what I'm doing, guys? Is it easy to understand? Or?
Yes, Sunny, completely.
Yeah, okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, what are the social media channels? The client is going to tell us, and we are going to Excel it, right? It's all Excel, or, I'm just making it really easy for you. What are the top 10 sources of trusted information for your client, right? Once again, it's just client is going to tell you, or you can just say, just ask, right? We can basically, I can actually say, this is a form that a client is going to fill up, right? We ask this question and the client is going to fill up a form. Let's keep it like this instead of,
that makes sense, because these are all the prerequisites that you need from the client.
Exactly. So, we're going to do that. And that form is already done and dusted. It's already there, right? And what is it from the form? We can, we are basically, using some prompts and other things to, make it look better and then taking it into an Excel, basically. That's all we're doing, right? Where are we? So it's actually, prompt and Excel is the answer for pretty much everything, right? If you think about it, I don't want to, make it too much complicated, right? Okay, so that's the level 0, right? Now the client is signed up, right? The client is inside, client has filled up the form. Now we need to start the work for the client, right? The first thing is, foundation, which is how do you look, right? So it's all the stuff that you have already told us, Falguni, but it's the same thing. If the client gives you a personal banner, right? Typically they won't give you a banner and a logo, so you have to create it using Canva, right? How to transform the photo? Once again, Canva. How to transform the headline? ChatGPT. How do you transform each one of these things? ChatGPT. LinkedIn. What is the best way to come up with the 3 posts? Use ChatGPT, right? Make them as featured post and showcase their thought leadership. Yes, do that. Do that using ChatGPT and then put it on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
It's ChatGPT and LinkedIn, right? And how are you going to do it? Using a prompt, right? And where is a prompt? You click on this here. You should be able to get to the prompt of wherever that is, right? It's basically identify the right target audience, Sales Navigator. Download the target audience, Phantom Buster. Clean up the target audience, Excel. Get it approved by the client. So it's basically how do you look? Who's your target? How can we connect with your target, right? How can we engage with your target? How can you sell with the target? So this is where some sales techniques we use. PASS is one of the sales techniques. It's called problem, amplify, solution. So we have come up with a prompt engineering for PASS, which means we give the problem and then ChatGPT will basically state the problem, amplify the problem, and basically then tell, here is my solution.
Right.
right? So but it's all again like everything is input and output, right? So the input for this ChatGPT prompt is what is the problem that the client is solving? Yeah, we have it here, right?
Yeah, it's a level 0.
Yeah, level 0. And then what is the prompt? Yeah, the prompt is already there. You click here, so you take the prompt, you take the problem, and then you can generate this message. Is that making sense?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
And
So
star is situation, task, action, result.
that's the star technique. Yeah.
Okay.
But we can just choose one. We don't even need two, right? It's just same thing, it'll work everywhere. I'm just putting it because, I wanted you guys to think about it, right? But I think PASS is a much simple problem solution thing, is a much easier one than anything else, right? The same thing for thought leadership and raising, right? I think that's what I really wanted to drill into your head, because what the core thing is, okay, there are two things that I would like you to do. Go through your document and add any step that is not here, right?
Yeah.
And maybe there are complete levels I have missed out, right? Like I saw Carlota showing a bunch of things that I don't have them on my thing, right? So I would like you to first build this up. Okay, just build this up. Don't worry about even if you don't know what platform, how you're doing it currently, that's okay. But just make sure that we have this
comprehensive list of all the tasks that need to be done, right?
Correct.
Okay.
We need to have that comprehensive list. Okay, number one. Number two, once you have done that, what we then do is really simple. Ask the question, how can I capture my thing? So one thing I can also do is so that we are really like, what is the, like, maybe it's very hard for you to know whether some step has to be done using AI or not, right? Maybe sometimes it's really, I mean, ideally I would like every step to be amplified by some AI, but sometimes it's not. So what I could do is to maybe mark some of these steps, right, as very important, that we need to use AI to amplify those steps, right? And
And
then
if you could just bold them, we
yeah,
make
something
sure
like
to.
exactly, like what is the objective of this client, right? Now, do we really need an AI to not really, right?
Not really.
What is the problem your client is solving? Just simply copy and paste it, right? I mean, I would love a good platform, but does it have to be AI to do that? May not be, right? But how to transform the headline? Definitely, I think it will
AI.
about section, experience section, right? What is the best way? 100%, these two things, right? I don't think I need AI for company banner or all these kind of things. It's about section, yes, maybe. Identify the target audience. Not sure there is any AI there, but
Yeah, it's just applying the right filters on
yeah,
the sales
exactly.
manager.
But I'm keen to maybe this cleaning up the target. I really interested in some kind of an AI tool, right? Because there's so much that has come up, right? You will be able to clean up Excels and Google Sheets using, hey, could you just remove all duplicates and clean up everybody who's not in this industry? You know what I'm saying? There are these tools that has come up recently, Falguni, where you can clean up like 10,000 rows with one command, written command.
That makes a lot of sense. Yeah, that can be automated and it'll make everyone's life much
easy. So so that's why I put it in red, because I just feel that's so important, basically, because this cleaning up thing, it is something that is so essential. That's why I made it in red, and we really need to get a good platform for AI platform for cleaning up. We are dealing with tens of thousands of clients every day, and a good way to clean it up is so important for us, right? So that's the main one. And identify the thing. Yeah, dynamic commenting, extremely important. Dynamic connecting, extremely important. Yeah, dynamic engagement, super important. dynamic. So you see, this also very interesting, right? I'm talking about two ways to engage with the client. First, engage with them by talking about the issue that we solve. Then you can talk to them about the issue that they solve. Right. So it's just a beautiful way to engage with our client. But we can again think about how do we do this, etc. And finally, I think to make it easy, I will just keep it one. We don't need to I can call it follow-up dynamic selling. Using maybe a case study. Right. The reason why I call them follow-up is just in case if they don't respond to the first one, then talk about them. If they don't respond to this problem, then talk about a case study.
Yes.
Yeah, I think that's the core. I think we don't need to break our heads on this. And then if I say dynamic connecting or whatever, right? Thing. Then basically say, okay, what is the prompt for this? It's really simple. The prompt for this is it's right over here, but we can even try to write the prompt is going to be the future platform is obviously ChatGPT. What does dynamic comment? The post that the guy has written plus prompt this prompt we can write it somewhere else equal to dynamic so we can call it plus post plus prompt for commenting equal to dynamic commenting, and we'll call it DC. Right. So it's really precise, etc. And how to do that, we'll just scribe it instead of writing it. We will use this product called Scribe. Have you guys seen Scribe? Have I shown you guys Scribe?
I've seen it, the interface. I've seen it. It's like a step-by-step with screenshots, I think, but I've not used it.
Yeah, it's really simple. We'll just have something for all of you guys. I'll invite all of you into this thing. So if you look at it, right, let's say let's take this web summit or this one, right, AI platform for writing ChatGPT, whatever, right? Look at this, 63 steps. Just imagine you have to do 63 steps on a Word document like you guys have done just now, right? And this one, let me just click on it just to see how long it took me to create it. This whole thing took me just 5 minutes to create it. And if I just scroll down to show you how much it is, it's got 63 steps like this. You know how long it would have taken for you guys if you did look at this. I'm still going down for like at least a couple of minutes. It's only 39 and there's 63. You see?
It looks like it's a very useful.
Yeah. It is super useful because, I mean, just imagine the amount of work that you guys have already put in writing that Google document, right? It's a lot of work actually. Like if we can use this, it should take you like 5 minutes, and this 5 minutes is too much actually. It should not take you 5 minutes. This is a very complicated workflow I recorded, right? It normally for normal workflows, right, it takes like a minute, 1 minute or 2 minutes to record it, because all you have to do is switch it on and do the job on the thing. See, look at this. This is 40 steps. It took me 3 minutes to record it.
Right, and then it records it. It sees where you put your cursor, and that's how it develops this.
It sees where you put your, and you don't have to do anything. No voiceover, no nothing. You just have to make sure you press the record button, okay, somewhere, and simply navigate to Twitter, click on profile, click on this one, click on this, more, settings and support, settings and privacy and safety, direct messages, make sure you are able to receive everything from all of it. That's it.
That's really cool.
It's really, because it just eliminates any kind of doubt, this. In fact, when you share this and when somebody sees this, it's even more beautiful. Like, if it looks nice like this, it's even more beautiful when they actually do it, So this view is for you, the creator view, right? Now, when you actually share this to somebody, like, or embed it, in a thing, or smart link or whatever, and go to another browser and open it, it will be completely different. It will be almost like a step-by-step guide for them.
So looks like this is going to like do the job, like for the guide creation part.
Yeah, it just will make it. So the only reason and I could have easily done the entire thing on that, but I couldn't find a way to represent the entire thing cleanly like this, because unfortunately you can't keep clicking, right? Like this, isn't it? It's not easy. But if there is any way, if there is any other tool or anything like that where we can go through each step, like one by like this, that will also be amazing. But right now I don't have anywhere where I can capture all the steps in one place.
Right, just so that they can navigate to that step,
yeah,
get it done and move on to the next step.
Correct.
Okay.
Unfortunately, it is not the best way to do stuff, but unfortunately, I think that's where I am stuck. Ideally, just imagine if we had an app, like an app that we can design and give it to those people, which will be too much for this project to handle, right? But that would have been cool. We onboard a client, we ask all these questions, get answers. Then we do all these things, right? But it's complicated. It's really complicated. But that is for another day to solve for another project, because I really think the way we teach work, right, how to do work, has to become like this.
Right.
I don't know whether Carlotto and Chow agree with me. You remember, Chow, we spoke about this last time. How do you teach somebody who has never done a job in their life to do a job, right? Imagine coming up with this and then going through this one by one, both teaching them and then working with them. It's so easy for them to be able to do this, I hope. But it should be made even more easier. Even right now, I do not feel it's easy. Even right now, I feel I haven't done a good job. But I maybe with your help, I could we could do that.
So can I ask a question?
Please go ahead, of course.
So we're looking at like a workspace organization platform that can actually consolidate all these steps and lead each thing to the detailed guide, so that they can do everything step by step. That's the gist of like what you.
Gist of it, exactly.
Yeah.
I think it's just that sometimes we do great work, Falguni, right? We do some great work, but where we fail, right? We don't know how to give it to the person who needs to do it.
Yes.
Right. And that's my curse, actually. It's been the toughest thing that I've really, I know exactly how to do it. I know the top products to do it, but I just don't know how to give it to somebody so that they can just, click, click, click and do it.
Well, that makes a lot of sense. So I had another question. Do you have any feedback for me as such, like anything that I can?
No,
I think you.
What I look, I think all of you, Falguni and Chow, Carlota, all of you guys have done a fantastic job. My job, I just feel, is to make sure that we come into this boundary, right? Like draw the boundary and make the job precise, so that you are adding value where the value is required.
Yes.
So far what you guys have done is brilliant. We just need to translate it into the Excel sheet, right? So that that's your framework. In consulting, you will study this all the time, the mutually exclusive.
Me see, yes.
Yeah. So I think you need to come into every amazing thing that you think about, you need to be able to bring it into your framework, right? Which is what is called the perspective, right? So my take on this is, bring all your documents, whatever documents that you have written, into the Excel that I have given you, so that, and that will, sharpen your thinking. Oh, where should I put this step? Carlota has given so many steps where that raising capital, where it should go.
Right, after what step? Yes.
After which one? Where does it make sense to do it? And how do I now do this step? Right? So you think about the step, and you always think about, the tool, and then, and in my opinion, if we can take, the next 3 days to 5 days, to fill this up, with your thoughts and ideas, and I will also fill it up. I will, because I haven't done the job for raising capital and other things. I've just done it for generating, while I just, put it over there for you to take it and run it. I will also, keep working on this so that I can give you my inputs right into the Excel, so that all of us are converging.
Right.
Okay. So let's do just simply 2 things. Let's identify the steps, and if at a very high level, let's identify if there is an AI platform to do that. Just one last thing I will tell you, all of you, to think about is there another platform, right? Is there another platform to hold all these things together?
Like a workspace organization.
Like workspace organization. So I have done many workspace organizations, and I failed. The first one was Slack. I failed. Almost for 1 year we ran on Slack. The second one was ClickUp. We ran on ClickUp for nearly 2 years. We failed. Now we are running on Notion.
Notion, yes, I think I saw.
Yeah, we're running on Notion. We love it. I think, the use case, if I have to take a few more minutes, I think this is the most important use case. I'm not able to crack it. Is imagine, you are a refugee, Falguni. Okay, let's say you join, my team. How can I make an instance of this, and give it to you, so that you go through that, so you are a refugee or you're a client, doesn't matter, right? Because it's the same thing, right? It's an instance. So I have got all these, thousands of lists that I've got. So you take that, and then you basically go from, okay, completed step 1, completed step 2, but it has to be Falguni's steps. It cannot be Carlota steps. Okay.
So it has to be a personalized dashboard to track their own progress.
Own thing, because, it's every client is different. Every refugee is different. And Falguni could have done 55 steps, but Chocho has done only 5. You see?
Right. So it can't be a collective dashboard, because
that's where I failed everywhere. I've tried ClickUp, Notion. It has to be like click, and then click and acquire everything. Right? You click, and then you acquired everything, and then you basically went through the steps one by one.
And it's easier, I think, for you also to track each person's progress and help someone if required. And it makes sense.
Yeah. That's just another one on top. Just to while you're looking, if you can just keep an eye for it, that'll be okay. So I'll share this with you, Karan. I think Karan and you guys can distribute. I'll put this video. Karan is in a very loud space. It's okay.
I think he's on a train.
Oh, he's on a train.
Yeah.
Where are you guys? All of you are in Paris, or where are you guys?
No, I'm actually in the south of France. I was in Belgium yesterday. I've been traveling.
Holidaying.
Awesome. Because I have holidays this week, so I haven't been in Paris.
No, that's okay. South of France is amazing. I have lots of friends in Nice. Yeah, Carlota.
Yeah, I'm in Italy. I was in Paris last year.
Oh, wow. You guys are lucky, actually. Fantastic.
Amazing.
So I hope you guys like what you have heard so far, because I really, if you feel that you're not, one thing I want to get out of Carlota, you and Falguni and all of you is, like, I want to push your brain cells to a level where it has never been pushed. So if what I'm telling you is not pushing it enough, right, you let me know. because I really want this exercise to benefit you and sort of put you on a path of, high speed, growth. So whatever you learn, is going to be super critical for all of you to, really use it as well, in anything that you do. So, I wanted to give you guys a feedback. For example, in consulting, nobody uses documents, right? That was the first thing I noticed. All of you are using documents. You have to run away from documents. Okay, nobody, you type documents, so the current, the thing is, I would say a Miro dashboard, or
Yeah,
you same thing. Whatever you prepared, you could have used it on Miro
Miro, yes.
or Canva. Just climb onto Canva or Miro. Do not ever touch Google Docs or Google Slides. It is not good for your health. That is what you should do behind the scenes.
Right.
Right?
Miro is actually really cool. It's like an endless space.
space.
Yeah, endless space. Yeah.
So I didn't want to discourage you or anything like that. I would have done the same thing, because you have to do something. In consulting, the end output is important, but how you present the end output is even more important, right? We have sold, a slide deck for $10 million, just a slide deck, right? With more than 100 consultants and 6 months of work of how we will transform, how we will create the Amazon.uk, for another competitor of Amazon, right? It's just one slide deck, $10 million, right? And I keep that slide just to, remind myself, how expensive slides can be, right? So, but at the same time, I want to tell you, it's so important to do the hard work, but it is even more important on how you show it to your people. Never ever show all your everything that you have done, right? Nobody wants to see everything that you have done. They want to see the gist of what you have done and the things that you've done. And anybody wants to drill down, you can always drill down. That's why I like Miro, right? You show the summary, you show the first level details, maybe second level, but you don't show the fifth level detail, to an executive, right? So, but you have it ready. You have it ready because if somebody challenges you, you can go up to the third level, right? It's just a small little feedback I thought I'll give you, but you don't need to worry about that for this project, right? I don't need any fancy anything, because for me, the number one thing is, to
make it simple.
Yeah, to make it simple, right? After working with all the world-class projects, I've come down to Excel, right? Because it's simple, it does the job. I can give that Excel to 1,000 people, and I'm not worried, right? About losing anything, right? So that's the feedback. I'll share this Excel and the video, that recording of this today, with all of you, and then you can run with it. And Karan, I don't know whether you can hear me, but if you can set up a meeting exactly, next week, maybe Wednesday or Thursday. I mean, ideally middle of the week is good, because then we can really, keep moving, for all the three of you. And ideally, I don't know whether this is enough. Maybe 1 hour is not going to be enough for us to, meet and review all the three. So maybe we can block 2 hours and we can, close the meeting, like today, 1 hour, 20 minutes.
Yeah, sure, Amit. Sorry for the noise. I'm actually out.